Okay, ready? When you clap, I'm just going to sit like this because it'll be different.
Why don't you clap?
No, you clap.
Why don't you clap?
No, it's fine.
You can clap.
Are we going to, okay. Was that a good enough clap? You don't like it when I slap.
As long as it's loud enough for all the microphones to pick up the clap, I think we're okay.
I know, but when I clap, you got to give it a pause so you have an edit point.
Oh, all right. Go ahead, clap. We've got a new camera. We've got new microphones. We've got new things. We've
got all the new things.
It's going to change the way I do the editing, the show, the shushing, the vushing, and the smooshing.
Of new things, but
Hello.
also regular things. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. We would love it if you continue to share and continue to subscribe. And also, you can find us on all of the podcast lists. Everywhere to listen to a podcast, we're there.
Look for Krisha and Frank. And if you find the one that I missed, that somehow we've overlooked, and there's some European ones that we're on that I can't even pronounce.
Right.
But if you find one that we have somehow overlooked, we'll track it down. So send us an email, krishaandfrank@gmail.com.
You can also find our website, Krisha and... I know. We have a whole website, krishaandfrank.com. You can also find links to our merch at Teespring.
Oh, yes.
We have so much to plug at the beginning of a show now.
Stores/Krisha and Frank. And that's exciting stuff. We do appreciate that support. And if you really want to help us out, you know what you could do?
What?
Is you could share the link to our merch on your social media.
When you buy something.
Well, yeah, you could do that too. But you could share the link and say, hey, look at that snazzy logo. I sure need that on a pair of socks.
And thanks to Feral Giant and Jody Collins. I still want to thank him because I really, really love our logo.
It's good stuff.
I really like it.
It has that whole vibe of, well, we can talk about that for a second because we told him, one of the things I said to him, I said, I think that Krisha reminds me of Carol Burnett, which I've said for years. And now that I've seen Imogene Coca more, I can see that resemblance.
Hold that thought.
Well, anyway, he used the same red from the Carol Burnett logo for the part where it says Krisha.
I know.
And that made me so happy. Made you so happy. And I don't know where he got the blue. I think he got that from a corpse. You know what the blue where it says Frank?
Yeah.
It's the exact same color as the face of Shelley Winters on the Poseidon Adventure.
It was 84 years.
That's a little bit of trivia for you. So find us also on Audible Pod.
Yes.
If you want to listen and subscribe to Audible and help us out with our affiliate marketing.
audibletrial.com/Krisha and Frank. You get 30 days for free. You get a free download, and then you can choose to keep it or not. And honestly, I got suckered in from another podcast I listened to from my Audible trial. So I gave another podcast some monies because I used their link to subscribe.
You can do the same for us. I know it's just a great service.
Yeah.
And you get to keep that one download from that you get during the first month regardless. Even if you cancel after 30 days, you still get to keep that first download. But when you're a member, you get to keep more and more downloads. You just keep downloading
all the downloads. Okay, so thank you for saying that I remind you of Carol Burnett. I don't think I look like her.
Well, when I said that the first time is when you had the Vicki Lawrence / Carol Burnett
very short red hair,
bobbed hair and it was that bright fake Carol Burnett color.
Yeah.
And since then, now you've said Imogene Coca. We did a whole bit on this podcast about how you remind people of Imogene Coca. So I watched National Lampoon's Vacation recently. And I'm looking at Imogene Coca. And then even better, you find these funny old pictures of her like on the cover of TV Guide in the 50s. And she really looks like you because her age would match with you. As opposed to, you don't look like an 80-year-old.
I don't.
You don't. You look like the younger Imogene Coca.
The 40-year-old Imogene Coca.
But the other day you texted me.
I did. My friend Steve sent me a message. He's like, I found your doppelganger. And sent me a link to IMDb.
So you immediately think it's going to be Carol Burnett, Imogene Coca, or someone else. Who do you think it might be?
I didn't. I was like, okay. Because I hadn't heard from him in months.
So no one came to mind when you heard your doppelganger?
No, not at all. There's only one person that someone has told me that I look very much like, and it is Sarah McLachlan from her 90s album. Here's a picture of her. It's very I said that it's this area. But he sent me a link, and it's Phyllis Kirk.
I've never
Never
heard of Phyllis Kirk. how would I know Phyllis Kirk? Because to me, when I looked at her, not only does she resemble you, I've seen that, but I saw just a hint of Judy Garland, and of course, you know how I feel about her. And Jerry saw a hint of Katharine Hepburn.
Oh, yeah.
Which means that you also would have a hint of those in them.
But she was in the one that made me happy was Twilight Zone. She was in a ton of episodes of Twilight Zone.
Oh, and then I have seen her.
She was in The Thin Man. But what made me laugh is Schlitz Playhouse.
Schlitz was a beer.
Yes, it still is a beer. But she was in a lot of variety shows, and I don't know her, and so now I've done a little research on her.
Did they have a Schlitz malt liquor bowl? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Why is that the first thing that comes to my mind when you say Schlitz?
I don't know. Now I'm going to Google.
But I can remember the old Schlitz commercials watching the baseball games in New York.
Yeah.
As a kid.
Schlitz malt liquor.
I can picture the logo. I can picture. You said Schlitz, and I thought beer.
Schlitz Bull?
There was a malt liquor. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else's.
No.
There was a malt liquor bull.
No, it was Schlitz.
How about that?
Look at that.
Check me out.
Look at you.
What do you know? See, I remember the old logo.
Right.
Yeah, like Rheingold and Peels and all those.
But no,
guys.
she was in a lot of 50s, 60s actress, and it kind of inspired me in a way because I started looking at the age. Did you know that like Morgan Freeman didn't get his very first movie star role till he was like 48 years old?
I think it's one of those inspirational memes you see every now and again. But that's fantastic.
But it kind of inspires me for this later in life thing that's happening where I'm like,
well, that's where that's why I'm obsessed with Regis Philbin.
Right, because it was later in life that
he kept trying and just failing and failing and failing until he was probably, I have to look up, but probably well into his 50s when he finally got a show and that he's known for and for the rest of his life.
Right. And I don't know, it's not like I want to be a movie star or I want to do, but for me, like pursuing more comedy and things that like are my that have always been kind of my backseat. Yeah. I like, let's do this thing, man.
Yeah.
So Phyllis Kirk is now an inspiration of mine. I don't know anything about her. I've only watched one little bit of her, like a clip, but I mean, if I look like her, cool.
Well, sure. And if I call you Phyllis by mistake,
it's fine. It's totally fine. Do you have a doppelganger?
I was going to ask, because when you said Kirk, I thought of my friend from childhood, Brian Kirk. Well, no. The Kirk family lived in Art Carney's old house in our neighborhood, because Art Carney from The Honeymooners used to live in our neighborhood before I did.
Yeah.
And then my best friend Brian Kirk lived in that house.
Okay.
So when I think of doppelganger, I used to jokingly say that I looked like Rabbi Shmuley Botich, who was famous in the 80s, and no one knew what I meant. And then I would say, well, how about filmmaker John Landis? But this is when I used to wear those Mr. Owl glasses. Right. So both those guys had the like the Harry Potter almost, the Mr. Owl type glasses that I used to wear.
Comment or send us an email. Let us know if you find Frank's doppelganger, because now I gotta search it out.
Well, I mean, the beard limits the choices. When I'm doing improv on stage, you know what I hear all the time?
No.
Robin Williams.
Have that.
But I think it's more the manic.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. You have more of the manic energy.
When I do a bit that reminds people of a Robin Williams bit. Now, I mean, not that I'm stealing from him, but that I get going.
You do. It's the energy.
Quote unquote, Frank it to 11. That's when someone might say that, because I don't know that I physically look like him. I mean, if I look at my face, I'm looking at my face in the monitor.
I like that you said I'm looking at my face in the monitor. We have that now. We got a monitor. Yeah. And it wouldn't have been possible without sponsors like Steve's Tree Service.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Renee, for not only cleaning up my backyard.
Cleaning up backyards all across East Tennessee.
Yep, they helped me with my business.
Yeah.
And got rid of those nasty pine trees that I cannot wait. Well, I have to wait. I can hardly wait until summer and springtime, because I truly believe that thanks to Steve's Tree Service, my pool water will be warmer.
Oh, yes, it will. You'll get more sunshine.
Yes.
And if you have a tree that you've been worried about, there was a time when I lived in a house that I was so worried about this leaning tree, and finally it had to come down. And if you've been kind of looking, because Frank is speculating we're going to get a March snowstorm.
I'm just guessing because
I said
we're
speculating.
Due. Okay.
Yeah,
I guess that's the same thing.
Yeah. So if you're worried about a tree, or if you're just sick and tired of looking at some dead old tree in your yard, Steve's Tree Service.
Remember how many trees fell during the Christmas storm and knocked power out for a lot of folk?
Yeah.
So I didn't have that problem because my trees are gone.
Yeah, and then people are like, I'm so mad my power's been out for 4 days. Well, maybe you should take care of that tree.
Plan ahead. Call Steve and Renee.
I'm being all sassy like
They
I
got
have.
the 5-star ratings on Google, Yelp, and Facebook, or you can just give them a call, area code 865-257-6214, serving all of the counties in the greater Knoxville area.
Yes. They'll help you with your tree length. I'm going to make it a thing. I'm going to make it a thing.
So your trees won't have longth. They'll have shorth.
They'll short your trees. Yes. Yes. Longth and shorth.
The longth and shorth of it. That'll be the title of the episode, I guess.
The longth and shorth of it. I sent you another picture.
Yes, this is going to be one of those episodes. It's going to take forever to edit.
It is. Would you want me to save it? I'll save it
it's
for tomorrow.
Fine. No, I'm playing. I may as well at this point. I've got all the pictures loaded. What is it?
I went again. I was out on the Greenway. I was at 10 Mile.
Yeah.
And I was chugging along, man. I was dancing. I was.
Is this when you were listening to Hairspray?
I was listening to Hairspray,
and you figured out that you could do the Disney dance.
And the world keeps spinning upside down. If you dance the full length of that song, which is almost 7 minutes, and you dance full out.
That's not Good Morning Baltimore. It's called The Beat. What is it about?
You can't stop the beat.
Hairspray is a great
the whole
show.
World began.
By the way,
it's so good. And I was listening to it, and I was dancing along, and I came around a curved corner, and there were rocks, big old honking, as you can see.
Yeah, and I thought that one in the middle looked like an igneous rock or some kind of lava creation.
But all I could see from my vantage point when I came around was why would somebody go to the side of where they're making sure the road doesn't fall into the Greenway?
Deliberately place rocks.
I'm like, what kind of jerk does that?
Well, think about the Smoky Mountains, where people take the river rocks, which you shouldn't do, and they stack them up, which you shouldn't do.
I know.
Because you know what you're doing? You're destroying the habitat of some poor salamander.
And it's like,
honestly, I'm not the,
Did you like my salamander?
I'm not the biggest softie in the world, but I'm gonna go with the salamander. I'm gonna say leave the salamander's little rock house alone. Don't stack the river rocks.
So I thought some jerk has just who does this?
Who does that?
People ride their bicycles
There's
here.
a bug that should be living under that rock.
Well, it turns out that somebody was being nice.
What?
Because someone previous had let their dog. That is dog do in between those two.
Don't
rocks.
send me pictures of dog do.
I did. But someone was nice.
When you sent me the picture, I thought it was 3 rocks.
It was
and
not.
I made a joke. I said, aha, you've been pranked. Because remember, Artie had his...
You've been pranked!
You're pranked! With that disgusting fake poo
right.
that his aunt gave him.
No, someone let their dog do that it was center of the Greenway.
What if it was a wild dog?
No,
loose dog.
It may have been a person, but it was definitely not a wild dog. And
I remember one time Don Drano and I found some human poo on the sidewalk in Washington D.C. There was zero question as to that it was a person.
I'm just gonna say that in this one particular area of 10 Mile Greenway, it's right where the interstate passes over the Greenway.
Okay.
And it tends it's an underpass for the Greenway.
So it's got some shelter from view.
It's sheltered from view.
A dog who's got an embarrassing issue.
No, this was dead center of the sidewalk. So it was
right there.
This was,
I think wouldn't the dog want to do it in the grass?
You would think, but sometimes there's poo on the sidewalk anyway. But someone nice had, maybe the owner was like, I don't have any bags. Maybe the dog just was like, I gotta go. And they couldn't control it.
I don't know.
I'm trying to give somebody a benefit of the doubt.
I think if it's your dog, you would find a way to get the poo off the road.
Unless you didn't care.
You would drag but then you wouldn't place rocks.
Right.
So if you cared enough to place the rocks, you would care enough to drag the dog off to the side.
Right. But I'm just saying, someone nice. I was thinking, what jerk put a bunch of rocks here? And it was actually some nice jerk, because they were blocking it to where someone would not step in it.
Explain this to me for a second. There's some teenagers who occasionally walk a dog on our street. And the dog stopped to drop one right across the street. And I'm thinking, aren't they going to pick that up? What are they going to do with it? She had a Tupperware. An empty Tupperware as they were going on the walk. Because I had been around the block once and passed them once. And the dog, and they're walking, and she's carrying this empty Tupperware. Do you think she had needed to collect a sample for the vet?
Probably.
Well, then why wouldn't she put it under the dog? Instead, she waited and then.
You're asking me
All right, I don't know.
to figure out what somebody else did.
I don't have a dog.
I don't either. I love dogs.
Well,
I love dogs, but I mean, I actually, when I was dog sitting and I was walking Sophie and Jack, I carry the dog poo bags and I pick them up. And I think that's really become a thing, in the last decade?
Yeah.
Because
they have the dog bag dispensers. Knoxville wants to be a dog-friendly town, so
right.
they have the things around there.
But up until maybe 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, it wasn't really a thing to pick up your dog's doo. You
would let the rain dissolve it.
Right. And if you were walking a dog in a neighborhood and it went into somebody else's yard and it dooed, so be it.
Well, where I lived, we had sidewalks and curbs, and the rule was you had to curb your dog. So if your dog started to poo, you would have to drag him or her into the street so that the poo, I guess, would wash down the storm sewer.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know. I guess I don't like maybe that. That's why they said pick it up.
So, but I mean, I'm now, I pick up other dogs' poo, when but I do which is what you do, you get the bag, you put your hand in it, and you pick up the poo, and you...
That's the way I get rid of dead mice, if we have a dead mouse.
By gosh golly, I'll tell you what, I got super lucky.
I don't like poo.
It was a big old chunker, and I had the bag in my hand, and I went to tie it up, and when I went to tie it up, I was walking, and I went to tie it up, I dropped it, and I went...
You stepped on it?
Oh, I stepped on it good.
You stepped on but it was bagged.
It was in a bag. And I mean, it was I don't this close to coming out of that bag.
I don't want to.
And I was so happy. I was like, thank you. And I couldn't tie it up, so I just put it in another bag and tied it up. But I almost had doo-doo on my shoe. Anyway, thank you to whatever nice person put rocks so nobody stepped or rode their bike through that big old log. Cause
I'm still waiting for the backyard dogs to get acclimated.
Oh, they're still barking?
Oh, my. Well, I caused it by accident the other day.
Yeah.
In fact, you had been here for, I think, the day we were doing all the merchandise.
Yes.
And designing and websiting and organizing.
Our business meeting where we had chicken.
Very important business meeting.
Our chicken meeting.
We spent so much money that day. But anyway.
We did.
But it's okay. So anyway, you left, and I decided I want to take my walk around the neighborhood and avoid dog doo. Mm-hmm. And I go out the back door, and guess who I saw?
Who?
Orange Cat. Because you had not... 30 minutes earlier said to me, hey, have you seen Orange Cat lately? I said, no, I haven't. And your quote to me was, do you remember it?
Next time I see Orange Cat, he's going home with me.
Because that's how you talk to me?
No, it's how I talk when I think about Orange Cat. I'm sorry.
No, you said it in a normal grown-up voice.
I did. I'm sorry. Animals do that to me. I just need them a little squeeze.
I'm just imagining if our actual off-air conversations ever involved that voice.
We talk like this on air, and as soon as boy, that was good. I'm really glad that we're done with that.
I think this would be, we would not have made it to episode 80, whatever, 6.
80, this is 86. Frank, I'm going to need you to send me all the winks. No, it's the animal voice because they get all the wings.
Well, if you were doing the cartoon voice of Orange Cat, I would excuse that.
No, it's just how you talk when you talk about squishy little animals.
Okay. Well, Orange Cat is back apparently, or never has left.
Right.
But I haven't been outside as much because of the weather, and so I open the door, and Orange Cat is on my back deck and takes off.
Oh.
And takes off, and as always, as has been my habit with Orange Cat for many years. Orange Cat runs over to the back corner, where behind the pool equipment and the fence, there's a gap in the fence that he can slide through.
Yes.
Okay? But now there's dogs.
Oh, no.
There's new dogs.
You sent
over
Orange
there.
Cat to the dogs.
There I did. And an off Orange Cat went, but I think he stayed on the right side of the fence.
Oh, good.
Meaning he went into my neighbor's yard. But
Yes.
the dogs go crazy.
Yeah.
And they are on those clothesline things with their, because they haven't built their
Right.
fence yet.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they are, and the guy had to come out and untangle them because they're all
they
climbing
went
all
nuts.
over each other. Well, the new camera battery died. I guess I need to learn to charge it.
We were busy. But it's fine. Now you just see our lovely logo. But anyway, Orange Cat, the guy had to come out. He had to untangle them.
Yeah, and I guess that was it because I left and went on my walk. I didn't want to even. I thought about telling him it was the orange. No,
who
I'm not
cares?
going to bother because by the time you steal the Orange Cat away and give him a home
Well, I wanted to tell you really quickly. I have an update.
on Orange Cat.
Yeah. No, I have an update on your Californians.
Oh my gosh, how do you know about them?
Because you told me about them. But then I saw a post on the Knoxville Reddit that said, "Hi, we are a new couple moving to Knoxville. We just bought a house. We're moving from Southern California into the Knoxville area to be closer to our child who is going to the University of Tennessee." And I'm like, the Californians found a house.
They that's
So
awesome.
I'll keep up with their journey.
Maybe we could call them up.
Maybe we call. I could comment on the Reddit and be like, "I'm glad that you didn't buy the house behind my friend."
But we can still go get a salad.
Oh, we can still get a salad.
All right.
Hey, do you have those juice bar coupons you found?
I do.
That's the buy one get one free. Thanks for listening.
Yes, and
That's so much better than the baby voice. I'm starting to sound like, what's her name? The Christopher Guest movies.
Oh, I mean like Best in
Jody.
Show or
Yeah,
Waiting
and
for Guffman.
And
or...
she just talks like this all the time. Look
Let's
at
see.
her. She's got the big lips.
Oh, Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Love her.
Oh, sweetheart. To talk like her, you have
I
to
remember
pinch
seeing
your
her at the
mouth
Groundlings
closed.
before she was famous.
Sweetheart, like you have to pinch your mouth closed. Sweetheart.
All right.
Okay.
Well, sorry about all of the things.
No, it's fine.
That's right. It's our show.
Faces schmaces. Faces schmaces, darling. That's what I always say.
Yeah, those of you listening, like Brian Hornback, Aaron Campbell, and all you like, nothing's different for you.
You're welcome.